Welcome to Stack Kings Live, NFL Edition, Week 15. We got a co-host today, a new guy, Joe Bonacorso. He's Rocco on username on StackKings.com. He plays. He's going to give us some insight today. Going right into the injury report, Reggie Wayne has a tricep issue. He's going to be 50-50 to play this week. Julio Jones, hip, doesn't practice Wednesday. He's going to be questionable. Panthers are going to start Derek Anderson after Cam Newton got into that car wreck this week. So look for Derek Anderson to start versus the Bucs. Eddie Lacy hurt his hip on Monday night, and he is going to be questionable to play, but they think he will be in there. Jamal Charles, ankle and knee missed practice today. He's questionable to play this week. Deshaun Jackson, back issue. He's going to be 50-50 to play this week. Denard Robinson hobbled with a mild foot sprain. He's going to be 50-50, probably questionable to play this week as well. Rashard Jennings, they say, will see more work, and he should be in there for maybe a full workload in Week 15. That's the injury report. Going right into the show, I have at quarterback Johnny Manziel, Mr. Money versus Cincinnati, 10K. He's the dual threat quarterback. I think he's going to give you 100 yards, close to 100 yards on the ground in a TD. I think that 16 points plus his passing is going to get you your 10K return. So I really like him. I think he is a no-brainer play this week. Who you got at quarterback, Joe John?
I like Russell Wilson. I mean, seriously, what else can I say? I mean, the guy's a dual threat. He could run the ball. He could get you 50, 60 on the ground, maybe a touchdown. You know, you can't complain about the 11, 12 points there, plus the passing yards. Last week, he threw for 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, and on the ground, he got a little over 50 in a touchdown. So, I mean, I think it's a great play this week, even though the 49ers are, stingy against the pass. I want to say they're 4th fewest in fantasy points this season. Yep. But he's at home. They're starting to gel. And come on. I mean, I'll take the dual threat any day of the week, especially when they're starting to gel right now at the perfect time. I like Russell Wilson, Tony.
I agree with you. I think Russell Wilson, he just plays so well at home. The San Francisco 49ers, they have a decent D, but at Seattle, I think that's a great play personally. Moving on to running back, I have Matt Forte versus New Orleans at home. Let me tell you about this guy. He's 15.4K, but he's got big home and road splits, and I think you got to play this guy when you have the stats on your side, and I think you have him this week. Home in 6 games, 80 yards a game. Away in 7 games, 52 yards a game. On grass, 69 yards a game. On turf, 58. He's at home. He's on grass. I think this is the week you play him. I think this is when he picks up his big points. I like Matt Forte for 20-plus Stack Kings points.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Who you got at running back?
I have Matt Forte.
Wow, unbelievable.
It's a great matchup. I mean, New Orleans is giving up the 4th most fantasy points to running backs this season. Yep. He's a dual threat, another dual threat. He's put up over 20 fantasy points the last 3 out of 4 games. Even though the offensive line's a little mediocre, quarterback especially mediocre. I mean, when you got weapons like Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Marcellus Bennett, I mean, are you kidding me, Cutler? Get them offensively the ball on the offensive side. I mean, you got too many weapons out there. You got to get – I think Forte has a big game. I couldn't agree with you more.
I think you got to question Cutler's passion at this point. I mean, is he just collecting a paycheck, really? I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. It's getting bad.
It is really, really getting bad.
Going to wide receiver, I have Calvin Johnson at home versus Minnesota, 12K. I think this guy is one of the best, if not the best play on the board. This is one stat I'm going to throw at you. Home and road splits. Home 6 games, 111 yards averaging, and 6 touchdowns. Away 4 games, 53 yards, and a Zippo in the touchdown thing. I think he puts up 20-plus points, even 25 easy this week. I think Stafford and him have just kind of gelled and got matched up again. So I like him at home. Who you got, Joe?
None other than Odell
Beckham
the man. Jr. Come on, Junior. Seriously, the guy's phenomenal. I mean, the catches he makes. I mean, and then going back a few weeks ago, Tony, to do what he did against Richard Sherman, one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Tore him up.
I mean, it's just a no-brainer. Priced at $13,345. I think you have to have him in your lineup this week. I mean, 3 out of the last 4 games, he's gone over 25, over 30, and right around 15 on 3 of the last 4 games. And like I said, to do what he did against Sherman a few weeks back, even though he didn't get in the end zone, he had close to 100 yards receiving, and some of the catches he was making were just ridiculous. And not to mention the catch you'll see for a long time on SportsCenter,
right.
the 3-handed over the shoulder. I mean, that was sick. I mean, the guy's got potential to be one of the best at the end of his career, one of the best wide receivers to play the game.
I don't know how he made the catch. It was unbelievable. It's going to be played for years and years to come. I agree with you. I think Odell cannot be covered by anyone, and he was actually my second guy on the board today. I love him at home against Washington. Moving to tight end, I got Rob No Shirt Gronkowski versus Miami, 11.8K. This guy's been an animal. Let me talk about tight end. It's just so thin. Really, I mean, you can find a lot of guys for 6, 7, 8K at receiver. You just can't find them at tight end. That's why I think you got to spend the money. Go with the 11.8K for Rob. Home and road splits for him. Home 6 games, 90 yards away. 7 games, 64. Clearly, he loves to play at that New England Stadium on that grass. I think he's going to have a big week this week against a tough Miami D against the run. And so I think Brady's going to look for his security blanket a lot. Who you got tight end?
None other than Antonio the Animal Gates. Over 15 points against Denver last time they played. He hasn't scored a touchdown in the last 5 games, but over 8 targets last week, over 8 targets the week before. I think Rivers is going to look his way a lot this week, and I personally think that he's going to go out and have an 85-yard receiving game and 3 touchdowns. Yes, mark that down, Tony. Wow. 85 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns this week. Antonio the Animal Gates. Get him in your lineup.
I think that's
him in your lineup.
That's some bold predictions, and I like that. I like when you're confident like that. 3 touchdowns. Put it on the board, baby. Going into kicker, I have Justin Tucker, Mr. Metal Leg. How about that at Jacksonville? I think that Jacksonville at home. Jacksonville's coming on the road to Baltimore, 6.7K. Jacksonville has the worst offense in the league according to Pro Football Focus, -128. I think Baltimore's going to score early and often. I think Justin Tucker's going to be in the red zone a lot, kicking a lot of field goals. I think he could put up 10, 13 stacking points this week.
I agree, Tony. I agree.
Who do you got a kicker?
I like Parkey. I like Cody Parkey. 7.5K versus Dallas this week. Philadelphia's offense, no, I mean, they move the ball very, very easily down the field, it seems like, every week. Outside of last week. They struggled last week offensively, but I think they bounced back this week. And I think he goes out and puts up, a little over 10 fantasy points, which you can't complain about that from a kicker. So I do think he's got the chance to get 15 though this week. So we'll see what happens. But I think you got to play Cody Parkey, high-powered offense. This is a big first-place game, so I think he does well this week. Get him in your lineup, Stat Kings. Get him in your lineup.
I like him. I think playing at home, Philly, Dallas on the road, they got to win that game, Philadelphia that is. So I think they're going to rely on Parkey in that leg. Going to defense special teams, I have Kansas City Chiefs versus Oakland at home. Gosh, you look.
Still in my notes or something?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking over there. I see what you got, man. I like it. I think Kansas City always plays pretty good defense at home. Oakland coming in. This is a rivalry game, 7.9K. Oakland's got the second worst offense in the league at -126 according to Pro Football Focus. I think the Chiefs put up a big defensive stand this week and even come close to the shutout. Look for a lot of Jamal Charles on the ground. That's going to keep that clock rolling. So I like Kansas City.
I couldn't agree with you more, but I'm going to go a little bit, even though I did have Kansas City marked down. I'm going to give you guys another one that I do like, and that's Baltimore at home against Jacksonville. Yeah. I think that's a great play. You can't go wrong there. Baltimore's priced at what's Baltimore priced at, Tony? 7.286. So I think you got to get them in your lineup. I think they put up over 15 fantasy points this week. I think they rough Boyles up a little bit. Denard Shoelace Robinson, I don't think does anything this week. Baltimore, 15-plus fantasy points. Get them in your lineup.
I can't agree with you more. I think that's the second best play on the board. Jacksonville at Baltimore. Jacksonville's so bad. Baltimore plays great defense at home. Weather could be bad, so look for that. I definitely like Baltimore. So that's it for the show. Remember, do your research and choose your team wisely if you want to become fantasy sports royalty. I'm Tony Badalucco. This is Joe Bonacorso. We'll see you guys next week.